God has made a very good universe, and there is great sorrow in the fall, but hope comes to us even right from the beginning. This is Father Sam Moorhead continuing our Advent reflections. In the last few days, we've been meditating upon the glory of creation, of all that is, the goodness of being human, the difficulties that came to us through the fall of the angels, then our own temptation and fall as the human race, the consequences of sin that we've all inherited that have been passed down to us, and that experience of dejection in being exiled, and how that can even be experienced in our life. But today, a bit of good news, and it's right from the beginning. Recall at the time of Genesis, as Adam and Eve were tempted, God comes upon Adam and Eve, and he finds the devil in their midst. There is a word of rebuke given to Satan from the beginning, and there is in that a word that becomes a hope and a promise to us, so strong that the church calls it the first announcement of the gospel, the proto-evangelion, the early indication of the good news that will come to us ultimately in Christ 2,000 years ago, still received to us through the life of the church today. So the devil is rebuked. God speaks to him. Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and all the beasts of the field, God tells the devil. And on your belly you shall go, and on dust, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. And then here comes that proto-evangelion, that first announcement, this hope, this first prophecy of what God will do to restore us to right relationship, friendship, intimacy with himself. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall strike at his heel. We're not just speaking of Eve here, the woman. I will put enmity between you and the woman, between you and woman, capital W, woman. Of course, you and I, with the benefit of our faith, know that is the Virgin Mary. She is the new Eve, the woman par excellence, and her son will be the one who will crush the serpent's head. No wonder that we Catholics, when we depict the Virgin Mary, especially in scenes that might have to do with the Immaculate Conception, where Mary is sinless, we see Mary standing on the head of the devil. Not because of her own power is this achieved, but it's God's power through her, around her, in the person of Christ, doing the work, crushing the head of the devil. This is what we know to be true since the glory of Good Friday and Easter Sunday. But there was an indication of it even many thousands of years ago. God is a God of promise and of hope. He cares for us, and even if he's going to play the long game, and even if salvation history is going to play itself out of the course of many millennia, God is ultimately on our side. So, today we see that first announcement of the gospel, and we can rejoice that God has worked in real-life human history, that one woman, from the instance of her conception, was conceived immaculate by the divine merits of Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection applied outside of time to preserve her from the smallest, the lightest taint of original sin, so that Mary, being sinless herself, could give birth to the perfectly pure and sinless one who is God in the flesh. We see the hope, the promise given. We see the fulfillment before us even today. And you and I are caught up in this Advent story.